close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
Alright guys, it is time for a life update. It has been a while. I think I haven't posted on this channel in over a month. And I certainly haven't given you an update in a while. A lot of things contribute to this. If I gave a life update every time something changed with this brain tumor journey, we would be talking about this weekly, maybe every other day. And a lot of it is like small tweaks, small changes, and they all just kind of have accumulated to kind of a pile of changes. So let's go over it. Let's dig in. I was not expecting to film today. Julia is home, but she's sleeping. And me and my friends a lot of times send videos to each other. And so we were sending videos back and forth. And the news we got yesterday is leading to this moment, but we're gonna go back in time before we get there. And I started to break down, and I was like, this sounds psychotic, but I need to sit down and make a video and debrief. Here we are. Really, the last time we talked was I was canceling my brain surgery. 10 days notice, which I now know is the policy. It's within 10 days of your MRIs, they do surgery so that your scans are recent and new. 4 months ago, would have been February. I canceled that brain surgery because I was caught completely off guard. I didn't know that this was the policy. And so I had my scans done, and then they wanted to do surgery like legitimately within a 10-day time frame. At the time, my grandfather had just been admitted to the hospital and was very sick. We didn't know at the time that he was dying. 2 to 3 weeks later, we knew that he was dying and was in, I think it was palliative care, not technically hospice, but we knew that he wasn't leaving the hospital. There was a lot going on, and still not fully grasping the concept that I know I need brain surgery. The goal at the time was to manage the seizures with anti-seizure medicines. Depression. Julia's awake. Hold on. She's gonna hopefully play nicely while I record this, but no promise. And we're back. With the depression, I was also experiencing cognitive and memory issues. No one could pinpoint if that was a side effect of the medicine, a side effect of the traumatic brain injury that I sustained when I had the grand mal seizure, or if this was edema from the tumor and the swelling around the tumor. It was hard to tell what was what. And like I said, no one could give us a definitive answer. When I went to the doctors in the beginning of April, I was seeing my neurologist. We had changed my medicine half a dozen times at this point, trying to find a dosage that worked for me. We put me on an additional medicine. I am on 2 full doses of anti-seizure medicines. Like, you can't go higher than what I'm on, and I'm still having breakthrough seizures. So the goal of managing the seizures with medicine is not working. When I went to that appointment in the beginning of January, I said, I'm thinking surgery is the next step. And he said, yes, I agree. It is time to take action. Like that, we always knew that this was a possibility, but this is where we're at. My neurologist and my surgeon are at 2 different facilities for a couple of reasons. My neurologist is closer to me physically, so I can easily go in person, and his hospital is in network with my insurance, which is huge. God bless you. And we're back. That was so much snot. Oh, sweet girl. And then the surgeon is just one of the best on the East Coast, arguably the country, and it's my brain. Naturally, we want the best that we can find. That's why we chose the surgeon at a different facility. I started to try to get in contact with my surgeon right after that appointment in the beginning of April. I was getting some traction through the portal and through, receptionist, but nothing major. And naturally, I was like, I'm not gonna push this because no one wants brain surgery. I was like, I was doing my due diligence, but I wasn't pushing for it as hard as I could. I know that. And then yesterday, it was like God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, pushed my hand. I was in my memory and cognitive class, and I got a phone call from the MRI company. Mind you, I had been asking for MRIs for the last month because I'm supposed to get them every 2 to 3 months. The last time I had scans was in February, so we're we're a bit overdue. So this company calls me. It says MRI scanning. So I tell my instructor I need to pause. I need to take this call. I answer. They say, hi, we need to schedule your MRIs. I said, I need to schedule it at this place. And she's like, no problem. I can do that. I was like, wow, that was really easy considering I've been trying for about 3.5, 4 weeks at this point to get the scan switched to the facility that's close. Like, I'm going to just send you a questionnaire. You have to fill it out and then you're good to go. Fill out this questionnaire. I get childcare lined up for her and I get a ride to take me down to get these scans done. And as I'm looking at it, it says like add to your calendar, and I was like, perfect, add it to my calendar. I realized it is in a different state than the hospital that I thought I was going to. So I kind of do a double take. I was like, no, this is the wrong hospital. So I call them back. I say, this got sent to the wrong hospital. Please send it to this facility. She goes, that's out of state. I can't do that. It's like, okay. So I call the actual hospital that my surgeon is at. And I said, these MRIs got placed, but they're at the wrong facility. Can you please send them there? She goes, oh, this is the same woman that I talk to every time. And she was like, well, technically, your surgeon didn't place these orders. The other department did. But they have to be done through this company because we don't take any scans that aren't done through this company. And I said, right, but my insurance doesn't cover my scans if I go to your facility. And she said, either way, you're going to pay for it because the interpretation of them, like if you get them done at a different facility, you're going to pay for them to be reread with our neuro radiologist, I'm gonna say, whoever interprets MRIs. I was like, okay, it's financially tougher, but I was like, I understand that. And she said, and you're gonna pay for them twice. If this is just a follow-up MRI, then you're gonna pay for it twice because then you need another set of scans within 10 days before you have surgery. Okay. And she said, no one here forgot about you. They talk about you quite a bit. And they did not forget you, and they really want to do this surgery for you to get it done. We think that, you know, your seizures are not under control with the medicine. It's time. And this is she didn't say this, but lack of a better word, it's the best case scenario. My neurology team that sent my case, so my case goes tomorrow, to their epileptic, now I can't think of the word, their epileptic surgical board to address any other surgical procedures they should do when they take out the tumor. I don't even know how many different methods, but essentially one of the methods, for example, is they can zap the tissue around where the tumor comes out to try to negate I don't even know if I just used that word right, to try to manage the seizures that was coming from that area and kind of get stuff wrapped up real tight before they, close. That's going to happen tomorrow. And then within a couple days, early next week, we'll meet and they'll tell us their recommendation. Explain that I have that appointment. Could I call them back with that info? And then we'll schedule the MRIs. And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. And then I start crying. I'm like, it's just so scary. And she was like, I know, but I really think this is like what you should do. It's the end of May right now. Julia's birthday is in the beginning of July. And I just want to be alive for her first birthday. And I don't, by the sounds of it, within 10 days of scans being done, and they were able to schedule me for the scans they were gonna do were scheduled for today, which means surgery will likely be within the next 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, give or take. That tentatively puts us the week that we were gonna have Julia's birthday party. And I'm just scared, we're all gonna die, but I know surgery is not a death warrant. There's tons of people who have brain surgery and are okay and have situations that are way worse than mine. And I'm grateful for, you're very sweet. We're in worse situations and it's I feel bad even being as upset as I am because we have been so fortunate with the circumstances. It's okay. Mommy's okay. Thank you for the hugs. And I'm mad. I'm angry. And I know that life is not fair. But like, but I should be planning our birthday party and not worried about brain surgery interfering. And waking up and only having half my world. And I know that, you know, your brain adapts quickly and I can survive with one eye. Like, again, it could be a lot worse. If you were new here, where the tumor is where your vision is created, so I'll likely lose the vision on my right side. And it just, like, it sucks. The last 6, 9, I don't even, she's almost 11 months old. I don't even know how to do this. The last 7 months have been really hard. And part of me feels like I know deep down that this is the right decision. And I'm so fortunate to have access to healthcare. And good healthcare. Like, my surgeon is really good. But it's still hard. Knowing that I'm gonna have to say goodbye to her, even though it's temporary. It's literally gonna be a couple nights, but like, having to hug her and say goodbye and then walk out the door, not knowing what I'll be dealing with after the fact. I feel like I have to make this or else I'm not gonna process it. And I genuinely believe, I know that I'm saying it again, but I do genuinely believe that this is the right choice. And I feel like it'll be one less thing being held over our heads. And the medicines I'm on, not only are they not working efficiently because I still have breakthrough seizures, but the memory stuff, like, I'm really hoping I get some of that back. I know that it's possible for your brain to rewire. I've seen it firsthand because when I used to read, it was like a movie that would play like on the back of my forehead. And I could completely visualize everything I was reading, and since October, I haven't been able to do that. And so we had been practicing, my neurologist, my therapist, my instructor for my cognitive and memory class. Everyone had given me different practices and examples. And last weekend, I was reading after having practiced these for a couple weeks now, and it slowly like faded in, and I was able to visualize what I was... What's wrong? It faded in. I was slowly able to visualize what I was reading. So, like, that was proof that your brain can rewire and you can adapt. And it gave me a lot of hope. It gave me, like, a burst of hope at the beginning of the week. 45 minutes before the phone call transpired that, like, established that surgery is a lot sooner than later, I was talking about this hope and how I was so excited and thankful, and I swear this is what contributes to my anxiety of, like, when something good is happening, that the other shoe is gonna drop and I'm not gonna be okay. I didn't talk about it. I posted a TikTok that explained, like, every time I feel genuine joy and happiness, I, like... Are you smiling? I shut it down because I feel like I will... Where are you going? I definitely miss stuff, but that's the gist of it. That is the update I have now, covered in marker, as is she. So we're gonna go clean that up. Thank you so much for watching. Please... You tip over your thing? Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will go back through and edit this. What's wrong? Dad? Don't be sad. We make mac and cheese.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.